Hold on. All right. Did the statue bit, got that out of the way. Let's get my seat high. All right, good evening. It's TrueHouse, me, Justin House again. Episode 477. I'm starting to get back into these live streams now. So, on with the ridiculous show. I hope that lighting's not too bad. That one's YouTube, this one's Insta. Here we go. Just been watching Douglas Murray, one of my favourite people in the world, actually. So tonight's episode is going to be relevant to what I've just kind of seen. You know me, I don't do scripts, although I am prone to occasionally making some notes. Note to self, I'm trying to get away from my typical, the ridiculous thing is that I'm speaking now to that iPad Pro replete with one of these Apple pens, which, there you go, sits on top, 100% charged. Shows how frequently I use that. And not even sure I've got my mic on, probably not. And yet I still find myself, this is such a boomer thing to do as a Gen Xer, is that I resort to going the route here, which really, especially in light of the fact that I'm writing this book for cathartic reasons in exclusion, just if for no other reason than just using the keyboard, Justin. Anyway, making a big effort tonight to keep the colour coordination at an all-time high. So we've gone for like a maroon burgundy look tonight with the hat and the cloak, sweatshirt, and even, there you go, one of them for Mahuta, because I have a perpetually wet nose like the dog I am. Today's date is the 22nd, I believe, 22nd of May. Is it Jan, Feb, March, April? No, we're March, April. No, do you know what? I don't clearly know what month it is. Hang on. We're April, Jan, Feb, March, it's the 4th month. Okay, so that means we're 8 months away, no, 4 months away from the iPhone 14 Pro Max. September, so, okay, let's just go with May, June, July, August. Okay, yeah, so 4.5 months away until your next iPhone. There you go. Just take a little bit of moisture. It's a Friday, it's a Freaky Friday. So I'd be remiss to not talk about the very big and very successful site, channel, page, whatever you want to call it, commentary, conservative, Libs of TikTok. Now, I'm not on TikTok. I know a lot of you are. I have this YouTube channel here, and I got 3 bans last year off Instagram, so I'm now _TrueHouse, and then I'm TrueHouse_ on Twitter, I believe. And Facebook, obviously no, because at 50 I'm too young to be on Facebook, clearly. And I don't have any recently deceased pets, so that's another reason why I'm not on Facebook. No disrespect to people that have got recently deaded pets. I am a serious pet lover, cats and dogs and cats. But there is a tendency on Facebook to have entire pages devoted to dead dogs. Like I say, I don't mean that to be mean, but it's just an observation. Anyway, so back to, the circle back, Jen Psaki, back to Douglas Murray. On today's Joe Rogan, anyone that's watched me before will know what I mean, or who I mean by Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is our Lord and Saviour, Joe Rogan. Been going a dozen years, of which I've been an avid viewer and fan for 11, good friend of mine. Put me on to Rogan back in 2011. Anyway, tonight's guest, Douglas Murray. Douglas Murray is a prolific British author. And as we know in society, folks, at this current juncture, you are given a free pass if you're gay. So, and someone like Douglas Murray, I'm a huge fan of. I'm a huge fan of people. Let me sort of expand or expound, expand. Sorry, bear with me. So I actually will stop myself mid-sentence if I'm not sure if I've, is it expound or expand? I think it's expound. I think it's expound. Yes. To explain, interpret, set forth, detail. Yes, expound. Yes. I suppose you could argue that the meaning of the word expound is to expand, is to, you know, express. Anyway, let me expound on Douglas Murray. So he's an openly gay man, just like Tim Dillon. So Tim Dillon and Douglas Murray are two great examples of men in society right now that are openly gay. Um, and the way, certainly politically, society has gone in recent years is to give you a free pass if you're gay or trans or black, etc. Right? And what's become, um, you'd have to be willfully blind and ignorant not to notice this. But if you are white cisgendered, I had to look up what cis meant. I think it's Latin for um, normal. I think is it cis. Cis is cis-sexual, cisgender, a person who is still not explaining. A prefix occurring in loan words from Latin meaning on the near side of, on this of, on this model, used in the formation of compound words. Prefix in on the same side of, referring to the alignment of one's gender identity with one's assigned sex at birth. Okay. I'd hoped it wasn't another bloody acronym. Clearly it's not. It must be Latin. So cis means on the near side of. So I am what I've been designated if I'm AMAB versus AFAB, assigned female at birth versus assigned male at birth. That makes me AMAB, assigned male at birth, as cisgendered. It's mind-boggling, isn't it? Anyway, so a cisgendered white man, Anglo-Saxon, heterosexual like me, is the most hated group right now. It's not cool or trendy or popular or so the irony being that if you are in a protected group, a so-called minority group like a gay man, a black man, a trans person, then you get a free pass, and no greater display of this. You can have quite awful behaviour. Who's that actor who played the Flash? Is it? Who played the Flash in Marvel?
According to Wikipedia,
Ezra Miller.
Ezra Matthew Miller is a...
Ezra Miller. So recently, Ezra Miller has been, I think he had something like, don't quote me on this, like 6 arrests in 10 months or 12 months. So again, if you're gay and openly gay, you can behave like a complete dickhead. It just gives you a free pass apparently. So yeah, there's a lot of leniency given towards. I'm going to try and tile this up to cry bullies and memory holing and memory holing slash mass amnesia, on very, very recent history. So Libs of TikTok is it's a site, it's a channel run by a woman, I believe. I'm not sure where she's based, California, whatever, but it's a very, very successful channel. And in terms of editorially, it's not even like this person's had to create things that aren't there. It simply showcases pre-existing things, videos of idiots making idiots of themselves in the first place. So what I mean by this is that there's no manipulation. It's not like the channel Libs of TikTok has had to has had to heavily edit, splice, sample, cut, this sort of very, when you see cleverly put together clips. I'm doing a terrible job of explaining this, aren't I? But when you see things online that are just a very good mashup of things to make. I don't know. Like I say, this just shows how poor I am at understanding the technical side of this. But basically, it's people that are beyond woke, i.e., like school, 20 and 30 something year old school teachers who have got full beard, haven't even bothered to take much in the way of estrogen to suppress their own production of testosterone. In other words, just AMAB, assigned male at birth, and then just put on some lippy and a wig. And this is a hot topic because you would traditionally be called a cross-dresser, or what my generation used to call in the day a tranny. So if I donned a wig and lippy and the skirt, they'd just say, oh, Justin's a cross-dresser at the weekend called Justine. He's wearing wig and lippy. He's a tranny. He's a cross-dresser. So what we've done societally, in an effort to refine ourselves and become, in my opinion, overly civilized, we've gone so far past, what I mean? It's like, and this goes back to Douglas Murray, because Douglas Murray is like I say, he's a prolific, successful British author and political commentator. He's often on the news. Very intelligent guy. Like I say, you've got some very sort of ubiquitous voices in the shape of comedians, frankly hilarious comedians like Tim Dillon, and who's American and English, Douglas Murray. Both chaps are, like I said, they're openly gay. And when you see openly gay men heavily criticise the extreme, they say, don't they, go woke, go broke or something, it's like what we're seeing now is, I think, collectively, and I certainly feel a sense of relief. I think it's on its way, and it'll be very interesting what happens this November, I think, November the 8th in the midterms in America. I know it's an important political time, I think. I think the word midterms means literally that. It's halfway through Biden's presidency, and there's talk of a red, Republican wave, whether it's DeSantis or Trump or both, and I think it will come. Although I hope it's not rhinos, Republicans in name only. I hope it's a new form of Republicans. I shudder to think it might not be, but many commentators online, like Tim Pool, have spoken out about this, and there's also a girl I really like called Lauren Southern, who I find rather attractive, but she's another sort of well-known voice. We're seeing more, frankly, conservative people, and you see this. I again, because I can't help but feel at a funny stage here, because if I had to compartmentalize myself, if I had to put myself into a social group, because I turned 50 in January and I'm in that Generation X category. So, for example, a really big name like Joe Rogan is only 4 years older than me. So I think a Joe Rogan is in my peer group. He would have been born only 4 years before me. My point being, I'm from an era and he's from an era, and there's enough X amount of millions of us to be from an era where pre-internet, but we're young enough to just about latch on to, like, I've got some friends who are millennials who are early to mid 30s, so are kind of like 90s kids, like 88, 92, around there, I guess. What would it make what is a millennial date? Anyway, I'm getting off topic. I'm trying to say something's happening in the consciousness here, because if you're between, say, 35 and 55, you're not too old to understand the nature of, the youth of today, as it were. And when you've got very penetrative voices. You've got voices in the internet space, like I say, like a Douglas Murray and like a Tim Dillon, and clearly there's enough interest, that there's enough impetus and motivation for and belief in, because what's I'm doing a terrible job tonight. This is very disjointed. I knew what I wanted to speak about tonight, but I suppose that the beauty and danger of live streaming is that it's obviously not edited, and you know, if you see me struggle, then this is what it looks like. I'm just not smooth tonight. I'm just not. So hey ho, it happens. But you know, as painful as it is for anyone to watch this, believe me, it's more painful for me to go through it. I just feel very clunky. So I'm interested in a couple of things that are happening. So we're seeing enough people get pissed off with this overly woke behavior, where it's almost like fear porn and revenge, and it's actually very, very hateful. If you ever watch or read or just observe the anger, the hate. So what really blows my mind, I think it's quite palpable, and I can certainly detect it and feel it. When you see a lot of people online, you know, perhaps they've got their own YouTube channel, or they're just simply tweeting, or they've just, you know, they might have gone viral for being outrageous. They could be on Insta or Twitter or TikTok or whatever, you know, just a person that's, they feel aggrieved, they feel oppressed, they feel hard done by, they feel angry, they feel hurt, they just feel mad. And all those things manifest themselves in, frankly, hate. So you see often people that feel that they're getting a raw deal. And there's a lot of victim sort of masquerading and parading and pageantry and, frankly, performative showmanship. You know, there's no shortage of chaps, frankly, online who are telling you that they're female, you know, are very happy with Apple's pregnant man emoji, and they're very angry and they're very, very hateful, very hostile, very much on the attack. And you know, one of these people, so this goes into journalism, this goes into what I call mainstream smeardia, because clearly, I mean, you've only got to go to a CNN, you know, case in point, CNN's new channel, CNN Plus. You might as well call it CNN minus. I mean, sorry, but I'm frankly quite happy it's failed, because the people, the presenters, the readers, the hosts, the people that front up and face up, channels like CNN, you know, like a Brian Stelter, like a Don Lemon or Lemon, you know, these people are just sociate, you know, they're pathological and compulsive liars. They lie for a living, and of course they would tell you that you know, a Tucker Carlson, Fox News lies for a living, but of the two, if you were just frankly a straight edge, you know, just a straight edge square person, you know, completely, you weren't one way or the other, you were just a complete flat, you know, sort of vanilla-y fence sitting milk toast, what they call it, NPC, non-playing or non-player character. I don't know. I don't know. It's just an acronym, isn't it, for a person that's just like good. I think you would actually have to, upon further investigation, or just even if you just were a casual viewer, we're at the point now where I think we've surpassed the partisan, are you a right leaning or a left leaning person? Are you a, Republican or a Democrat, Conservative, Labour, red, blue, whatever. It's very much gone this up or down, real or unreal, truthful, fact or outright lie. We've fallen into this very odd place. So my point is, again, this is the worst stream I've done in a while. This just feels clunky as shit. Painful stream. But I'm gonna finish it. It feels horrible in my stomach. It's just an awful display on camera, but I'm gonna cross the damn finishing line because it feels horrible. It's just the way it is. So yeah, something a channel, I don't know what you even call it. What do you call it? A page, a channel, a site, um, I don't know. What do you call it? What do you call it? It's got a lot of followers. It's an account. It's an account, isn't it? It's Libs of TikTok has probably 600 or 700,000 followers. It's done very well, and it's literally, like I say, I know this is a shit stream tonight. It really is a shit show. But Libs of TikTok has enough people like myself believing in it, and when you see gay men, like I say, I keep shouting out Tim Dillon and Douglas Murray because when you've got gay commentators, frankly gay personalities as well known as a Douglas Murray or a Tim Dillon, saying they're disgusted and appalled by the behaviour of the extremities of the extremist behaviour, the radical behaviour, the LARPing, the ideology, the dogma-driven, power-hungry behaviour of these, frankly, LARPing left ideologues. Again, gay, performative, trans people that are spewing, like I say, palpable hatred. They seem to hate anything that isn't them, so that they will instantly hate someone like me. Someone like me is worth hating. Whether it's my they'll think I'm ignorant and thick, probably right, because I'm a heterosexual and cisgendered and white. So all these reasons I would be hated by these people. What's odd is that they are otherizing, for want of a better expression. One of the things that you've only got to look at recent history, and by recent history I mean history of 100 years or less. That is very, very, very recent history. So the obvious classic default example being Hitler, being the war, the Third Reich. One thing Hitler was known for, one of the horrors that he committed, was to other people, the other, the gay people and Jewish people, and and to literally delete them from society, as he did, or tried to, didn't he? So what I find disturbing and very troubling and alarming, I really fucking mean this, is a feeling that, like I say, I've had a relatively good life, but now we're seeing such influence, such pushing of this dogma, or well, it's an ideology, isn't it? It's an ideology that if you're white, if you're not gay, frankly, if you're not gay and you're not black and you're not interested in changing your sex, gender, orientation, whatever, then you're not liked, you're not cool, you're not, it's, I find it really truly bizarre. Now, I know the vast majority of these people would instantly, in a second, in a second, um, slide me into their sort of quagmire of hate. They'd be like, look at that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, God, my eyesight's terrible. But I mean, I know that I am doing the work. I'm doing a hideous job tonight. I mean, I'm now feeling determined to complete this. But hey, this is the beauty of life. Watch me struggle. But I've literally come from my kitchen tonight after watching Douglas Murray talk to Rogan about this, and because he's an author, he's a writer, and he's far more eloquent and lucid than I am. And he said to Joe Rogan, he said, look, he's constantly invited onto news channels and podcasts and a lot of media. Like I say, he's a very well-spoken Englishman. He's a great writer. I've got several of his books, and he's therefore asked his opinion, and his opinion will be Russia and Ukraine and COVID and the vaccine and ivermectin. And because he's gay, it'll be gay and trans and cis and Biden and Trump. And there seems to be I don't know, half a dozen or threads, like talking points. I mean, this is just hideous tonight. This is hideous. But I'm telling myself that I've got to do these Monday, Wednesday, Friday streams, whether I speak to 0 people or 2 people, but it's an act of discipline. I've got to do these streams because I want it to work. So when you've got a journalist like Taylor Lorenz, who is a female journalist, I believe she writes for the Washington Post or the New York Times and other similar big organizations, and she doxed the account of Libs of TikTok. And like I said at the beginning of this awful stream tonight, the woman that runs the account Libs of TikTok, which is frankly hilarious, isn't even splicing together heavily edited or manipulated clips. It's not even like she's sampling these 2 seconds and editorially putting them together to make something that's been manipulated. She simply plays the video put out by lunatics. So you'll have a school teacher, for example, with full beard and makeup, indoctrinating little children and talking about something I feel very strongly about, as in I'm very opposed to this, to even mildly discuss adult sexual content, sexual things of a sexual nature with children. There's plenty of time for kids to grow up, and I am vehemently opposed to anyone that's an adult even dare to frankly destroy the one of the most beautiful periods in human progress, in human growth, and that is from being literally a baby, a child, a small person, when life was, if you've had a decent upbringing with relatively decent parents in a relatively decent part of the world, of exploration and curiosity, and above all innocence and growth, and just that young, curious, naive, investigative innocent mind, that flourishing mind that, oh, what's that? It's a cat, it's a dog, it's the sea, it's a tree. Literally knowing nothing in the world, and being because you are immature, you are a child, and there's something beautiful about being a child, and then to have a fully grown adult um, gate crash that era of a person's life, and they're not even the parent, they're the school teacher, and feel compelled to discuss um, gender, boy, girl, society, sexual orientation. It's fucking disgusting. I'm sorry, it's disgusting. I think it should be I think it should be criminalised. I think if anyone above the age of 16 or 18 feels compelled or obliged to speak to a little person of 10 or under, or well, 16 or whatever, I don't know. I just think it's bordering on biblically wrong. So we are seeing the likes of Taylor Lorenz, this prolific reporter who's attacked and doxed. You know what doxing means. It's announcing whether it's a link or just a direct editorial, that someone's name and or address. Because Taylor Lorenz is another woke journalist determined to not only increase her paycheck but to get more proverbial pats and slaps on her greedy back and earn more social leftist brownie points. Yet when she's having any hardship or grief herself, will be on national TV. I think it was MSNBC or NBC or one of these big networks, crying, again, performative crying about her own brush with being attacked, being doxxed, whatever. Again, there's nothing worse than cry bullies. It's a new sort of category of people actually worthy of getting a right pasting. In my thuggish opinion. One of the things I feel very strongly about, again, because of my age, because of my generation, is there's not enough people that have been hit in the face. And even saying that, the majority of people would say, well, Justin's condoning violence there. No, what I'm condoning is the lesson in humility immediately earned. The younger the better, in my opinion, when someone knocks you on your ass. And it's something I've frequently spoken about on this live stream. Is I learned at a young age. I might have been 6, I might have been 8, but to be knocked out, to be punched in the mouth, punched in the nose for being too lippy by a bigger, stronger, older, faster kid, right? More aggressive, taught me a lesson. I was trappy, I was gobby, and I paid the price by getting a smack in the mouth, getting a broken nose, getting busted teeth, and it's a very good lesson in learning that if you gob off and you're too lippy, there are consequences. And I think one of the saddest aspects about this online world we're living in now is that people get very busy. I mean, I'm one of millions saying this. I think that you type away on your keyboard, you say hateful things, and there's no direct, real world consequences. And whether we're talking about Taylor Lorenz turning people against Libs of TikTok, which I think is essential because, like I say, Libs of TikTok is simply giving these performative, so-called oppressed people who are high in parading themselves as a victim. She's giving them the channel TikTok is giving them Libs of TikTok is giving them a free reign. I'm going to stop because this is just a hideous live stream. I'm going to let it run. I'm going to put it out there as proof that I've managed to bring it to an end. And like I say, I lastly will just say, oh my God, I want to delete this I so want to delete this, but it's a lesson in watching myself online in real time fail. the last thing to say in closing is something else. And I want to perhaps talk about this on Monday because it's Julian Assange, is memory holding things, this amnesia that takes place, the reliance upon us, the Gen Pop public, to conveniently forget extremely recent history. And that is propaganda, that is manipulation, and that is cognitive dissonance, confirmation bias, a willful ignorance to nodding dog, acquiesce, conform, comply, agree, whether it's a COVID vaccine, a mandate, a stance, a political take, whatever. Okay? I'm going to stop now because it's got to be the most hideous live stream I've ever done. All right, I'll try again on Monday. Thank you for. It's funny. All I can say is good night. I tried.